All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Jennison, with
Kendra Jennison.
And we're on the backside of California for how many days home are we here?
We are home for a week.
And then we go to Florida.
We go to Florida.
What's it like to have that life?
It's awesome.
That's an awful answer.
Okay, it
like,
is
I am
riveting.
not married to. Let's just go beyond one word here, okay? Give me like an explanation. Give me the story. Do I need you to stack about this?
I could.
No. Well,
I would like to stack about happy things.
this is happy. Your life's not happy?
It
You
is.
hear
That's
these
what I'm
kids
saying.
screaming over here?
It's
like you
great.
hear these kids screaming on the other side. So I just was telling for the listeners out there, you can tell the energy's a little bit different here. We're coming off the backside of a vacation / workcation / I work every day of my life. So it's not really, I built a life that I don't vacation from, I vacation with, which is pretty cool, right?
It's super cool.
A vacation with, and we're able to take the kids with us. We've done some changes. We've got the girls in homeschool. Phoenix tomorrow's his last day. Then he goes into virtual school, which means he'll be able to do school from the road if we want to travel, if we want to. We've been like fighting for this for a long time.
I remember having conversations about us talking, saying, well, what if we just homeschool? What if we just put them in this? How does that, what does our life look like when we do that? And now we're doing it, and it's awesome.
Well, that's kind of what I want to talk about, because I never wavered from what it is that we want.
Right.
But sometimes you take lefts and rights and turns and mistakes and blocks and roads and fall off cliffs and climb back up mountains, right? Like, that's what it's been like. But if you really look at it, just everything inside of our life, it's spitting out. This is the analogy I want to paint for the couples, or the man or the woman. And we're going to get into kind of like how this happened. But I feel like every time we get to a new level, you know what a funnel is, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Turn the funnel on its side, because I feel like we're walking, or maybe it's going up. I don't know which direction. I guess that's irrelevant. But in my mind, it's laying sideways. So the funnel is on this flat ground, and there's a big wide opening. And I'm having all these ideas and all these wants and all these desires that are on the side of this funnel, right? And I'm putting them in there, and I'm putting them in there, and I'm stepping into this funnel. But the funnel gets narrower and narrower and narrower and narrower. And it doesn't mean that I lose all the things that I set into the funnel, but it gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and harder to get through. Sometimes you can't see what you want. Sometimes you feel the pressure. Sometimes your body shuts down. Sometimes there's anger. Sometimes you're swearing. Sometimes you hate the life. You had this life you want and you didn't know why you asked for this. Then all of a sudden, poof.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it's like giving birth. I don't know. But poof, you pop out the other side and there's a whole new green pasture with all the things that you wanted. Because that's literally what happened to us yesterday. Right? Or well, these past 2 days. Mm-hmm. We got back. We had one of my issues from my past. I mean, I've been hanging on to that. I mean, I could have took care of it a long time ago, but I was with the IRS, and we had I had an offer in compromise. It was just over time, just running and running and running. I completely forgot I even had it, because we just pay it each month, and also I come home and there's a completed, right? You completed. Thank you for paying back. And it was great, and it was done, and it was good, and it was something that was over my mind. And then the next thing was all of a sudden was like, how do we get Phoenix to be able to have what the girls had? Because I felt stuck in my life, and I couldn't, as free as I am, I'm just stuck. Mm-hmm. I'm just angry and aggravated. And what happened was the very things that we wanted started happening, and some quick decisions, some pivots made in our life. One of the things I didn't even talk to you about this was you put pressure on me by pulling them out of school, mm-hmm. because that put pressure on Phoenix, mm-hmm. to want to be with you and his sisters, which then in turn put it on me. They forced me to have a conversation with Sarah, mm-hmm. which we'd been avoiding. And his conversation was great.
It was perfect.
And what we got on the other side, the whole point is what we got on the other side of it is like, her and I are on the same page, you're on the same page, and we're able to help get what we want. And there's no fighting and no frustration. And I was sitting there talking with her and talking with Phoenix, and Parker's over here working, and it's just, the whole world is just melting and molding and morphing into what I want. Yet people give up what they want all the time because it gets so difficult.
I was going to say, I think it's important. We've had many, 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 many conversations of us talking about, oh my goodness, things are just not going our way. It's not the right timing. Why isn't this happening? Everything that we talked about that we're seemingly getting now, and divine timing and God's timing is always perfect. But we've had so many conversations of frustrations on why isn't this happening? Why are things just not falling into place? And now all of a sudden it is. all the things that we've worked towards. But if we would have given up, or we would have said it's not really that important to us, we wouldn't be sitting here in this whole new area of freedom that we're obsessed with right now.
What did it feel like for you to get, because I'm leading us through, like we live a very traditional life, right? It's kind of like, here's where I'm going. We're going together. I cascade, I don't want to sound like a fucking caveman, right? But like, hey, here's where we're going. I'm painting this picture. This is kind of where we're going. And I don't really know the way, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to whoosh, whoosh. You're going to be up here grabbing the sword, and you're going to be helping cut through things. And sometimes we're not going to be able to see clearly, but we're going to keep going anyways. But what was it like to just roll like the past 6 years to get right here? And I say 6 years because we've been together 6, going on 7, I think. And 6 years though, we started from, there's been just a constant state of expansion and soul level evolution in me, which is ultimately having you rise up to the point your sister, who runs our life essentially and works for us inside of the comeback now, is like opening up the possibility to actually open up to go to church. Like all of these things in this world that I've created, like Garrett told me at his, I know I'm just talking off random, I don't care today, but we were sitting at lunch at Garrett's office last week when you were with the kids, and I'm there, and he's like, I said, man, I think I built something cool. He's like, you think? How about you shut the fuck up? I believe I built something cool. He's like, you believe? How about you shut the fuck up? How about you just say what it is? You built something cool, and you need to own it. Like you did some shit that was pretty fucking amazing. And like you need to own it. And looking at it, coming back here, kind of saving it for this podcast, is I did the same thing for us.
You did.
Right?
Yeah.
I did it for your family. Like in a lot of ways, look how different things are. Your life is, I am because, we are because of the stuff that we decided to go for.
100%.
So what does it feel like?
The entire thing. Just reflecting back on
This
everything.
podcast, just like we're coming off of California, coming home, you're going to your other house, your new home in Florida. You've only got, still new because you've only got to go there twice. You know, you've got a ocean front or whatever, waterfront, you got a really nice house in Florida, you've been to 3 times, right? You got everything you want in the world. Your kids are homeschooled, but not every minute, you got everything that you want in life, but not every minute has been beautiful. Or maybe it's been beautiful, but not every minute has been easy. And many people will quit, or the wife will give up on it. Because that's kind of the topic I want to talk about. So I got a client today whose wife's not seeing what he wants, and he's at a place where he's like, do I do full court press and just push her to what I want, or do I back off because I kind of got in a fight? So we never got in a fight, but I want you to explain to these people, like, this is what it looks like to be sold out on your man. What does that feel like?
Yeah, I definitely, there's been something working through you massively, and I completely fell into the position of utter trust and submission into you as a husband. And kudos to you, because you really have always done everything you said you're going to do. So for me, even when things don't go exactly how we planned, like you said, we've had peaks and we've had valleys, and it's been part of our life, but you've always stayed the course. So even when it gets hard, and I would like to be a fly on the wall and see through those times of turmoil that we're going through, and watch you, because I'm not sure. I know I look to you as in, are we going to be okay? Are we going to be okay? And even in those moments where it got really tough, and I looked at you and we're having conversations, and I looked at you.
Explain tough for me, right? Because there's different ways. Like, is it financially tough? Is it emotionally tough? Is it? It's never physically tough. 'Cause I never like hurt you or anything like that. But like, there's only a couple different ways it could be.
I would say it's emotionally, financially. I felt like we've always been secure, but we've made some financial mistakes where we're trying to grow, we're trying to invest, and we're doing house deals, and we've made a lot.
I've lost millions of dollars.
We've lost a lot of money, but never in those moments. When I look at you and I'm talking to you, because you've always been so transparent with me about, this is where our money is, this is what it looks like, this is what this means for me, this is, again, you've always just led with such certainty, and you you sit in a position where you never accept defeat. And so when I feel that from you, I'm like, okay, yeah, this really sucks right now, but we're going to get through it. We're going to be okay. Because I never look at you and you never look at me like, oh, he made that mistake or he's the enemy, he's against me. It's no, we're a team. This is what we're doing. Okay, we failed at this. Let's pick back up our swords and let's go forward again. We're going to keep going. This is what we want. This is just another obstacle that we got to get through, you know? And so once I really looked at it that way, as in, okay, he's the leader, he's the man, he's the forefront. I just put so much trust in you and you've never let me down, you know? And I don't mean, the only way you would have let me down is if you would have given up.
Yeah, that was a pretty powerful line you just said there. I don't accept defeat.
You don't.
I've never thought it that way because I always just look I'm just too dumb to quit.
You're just too dumb to quit. You say that.
I'm just too dumb to quit. That's what I say.
And you know, even in the emotional, so many emotional turmoils that you've been in with the business and with yourself and just exploring that for the past 6 years. I mean, you are 100% different than when I met you. So just navigating that through together has been...
It's funny that you say that because I don't see it.
No, you wouldn't see it. I see it. I feel it. It's in the way you carry yourself. It's in the conversations. It's watching you with other people. It's how you hug. It's watching you with the kids. It's how you speak. 100% you are different.
I mean, everybody says it. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, I've always...
You're just Mark.
Just me, but I'm always this version that I'm going to.
Sure.
So for me, I'm not even close to who I should be.
Right.
Right? So there's this feeling that I've had since I was a child when I struggled with suicide and just depression as a 6, 7, 8, 10, like as a little child, right? Mm-hmm. Like I always knew that I was meant for something great. And I had direct downloads from God. It had to be, right? Like, why would I know that? I could see the vision when I was a kid. And the vision that I saw when a kid has not been complete to what I see as a 43-year-old man. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I already know that that's who I'm supposed to become. And along the way, I've never allowed myself to look at anything different, even when I was drinking. Yeah. It was the wildest thing, because like even when I was drinking and drugging and fouling and falling on my face and lying and just, lying to myself about this version, I still knew there was like this cockiness inside that I still knew I was supposed to be great. It's almost like I built the whole story that I've been through because I needed it for the purpose to create what it was. Like looking back at my life right now, but you're talking over the 6 years. Yeah, I know I'm a little different. I look at pictures. I got some gray hair.
No, that's not what I mean by different.
But I mean, that's what I like. I know I look
yourself.
different, and maybe you see that, but in my mind, I'm still not who I'm supposed to be. And that's going to continue to change probably forever, especially since you are continuously on this quest for growth and expansion and what does that look like and what avenues can I explore. It's been the most fun part of being married to you, in my opinion, is watching both of us, but watching you change every single year into just a more calm, lethal, happy version of yourself. So Garrett says, he said, man, there's been a massive change because he noticed it too. And then he's like, the guys that just meet you, because he knows me from years, right? And there was the anger, there's tension, there's all this stuff. He's like, the guys that meet you now, like when you come in, when I go to his place and I hold court and I help and I lead, he's like, you're like this Zen, calm guru guy, but you also are like, I know you've got the rage underneath there that can be accessed at any second. And I'm like, that's a pretty cool compliment.
I definitely think that makes you, any man that has the power to do that within himself, is to be lethal on command, essentially, where you can be calm and have this presence about you that is warm and welcoming and helpful to people, but at the drop of a second, if you needed to be, where you can access that rage and you can just become a savage if you need to protect or for whatever reason, I think that makes an incredibly powerful man, in control of your emotions at all times and never allowing just anything to set you off. That was something that has been huge. When have
you seen that really come to fruition? Because I feel like it kind of snuck up on me. I didn't know this. I didn't really set out to be this way. The truth is, I shouldn't say this. I loved the rage, the anger, the chip on my shoulder, but it really has disappeared.
I think that you mistake. I think you just sold yourself on the story that you love the rage and the anger and whatever because it's
Well,
gotten
it kept
you
me alone. It kept me isolated and kept people away from me who
It did.
who I didn't need on me. And I was able to allow guys like Kevin and people in my world. And I was it allowed me to be selective.
It did, and I feel like you sold yourself on you like those feelings because you love being an intense individual. And so once you realize that, wow, I can be an intense individual without harboring anger and rage and all these things, I have different avenues to access it. I think then you were like, damn, I am a really powerful individual.
What did that do for you when I switched?
You just finding more peace within yourself. I mean, I feel like I've always been a pretty peaceful person. I've always been really good.
Yeah, I don't think I have made you more peaceful. I don't think that was ever the case. Like, that's not what I was trying to do.
But what happened was when you were able to get control of that, I was really able to look inside of myself and say, wow, okay, if he can change and he can explore the darkest parts of him and bring them to this light and change them, what darkest parts of me am I holding on to? Even though mine wasn't rage and it wasn't anger, but what darkest parts of myself am I holding on to?
There's a lot of hurt.
A lot of hurt that
hurt.
I can bring to light and that I can change about myself. So you gave me the space in my own way to look at myself internally and be like, okay, this is something that I can start looking at no matter how scary it is for you.
How are you doing? So I've never really, I ask every day how you're doing, right? But since we're on this thing live on the air, or well, I guess I don't know if it's live, but it'll be recorded and filmed out. When I met you, you carried a tremendous amount of pain, grief,
Yeah.
loss. And then that got compounded again after you lost your dad, right?
Yeah, sure.
And now we're going on 5 years since then. Do you feel more at peace now than you did back then?
I
mean, you have your days.
I was gonna say yes, I definitely do have more peace. There's still PTSD. There's still grief from Dad and Jeff, which will always be there. And there is going to be certain instances where I'm sure things will set me off, just like they always have my whole life. But I feel like I'm in a place now where I've done a lot of peace work, a lot of journeying, a lot of contemplating and reflecting on myself. And I've really, really gotten good at identifying my emotions. Okay, why am I feeling this? And just being able to sit with myself and thinking about it. Whereas before, my go-to move was just suppress. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to, I'm still good. I'm still happy. But I'm just not going to think it or deal with it because I don't want to. It's sad. So just push it down, which was obviously not good either. And I would tell myself I'm good. And I really do believe that I was.
Yeah, because we've been together a long time. There's only been a handful of real emotional. So I think you've learned how to control and navigate it. And then sometimes it festers up around but it's not around dates or anything like that. It just seems to happen.
It's most random.
Most random days. But I'm just thinking back to how you have been able to truly navigate it and the growth that you've had, that you've always been peaceful, but even when you were hurting, you shut it down, but it never exploded.
No, I feel when I wasn't dealing with it and I just kind of suppressed it and I wasn't thinking about it, I felt like I wasn't being true to myself. I felt...
Do you think if we weren't together, you'd be as strong as you are right now?
I might be strong.
Or as wimpy as you are right now, because
I wouldn't be as peaceful. And peaceful is definitely one of the greatest. It's one of the greatest things that I've truly been able to feel in my life. Is wow, I can feel however I want to or however I need to in the moment, and I can just be. And I'm not embarrassed about it. I think that was another thing too. When I would feel grief or angry about anything, I was embarrassed for myself because I would tell myself, "You're so much stronger than this. Why are you crying about these things? There's nothing you can do to change it. It's out of your control." And so I'm literally being a narcissist to myself, where you don't need to feel these emotions. And once I kind of dropped that and I was like, all right, let's just feel this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sad. Yeah, this sucks. I really miss them, or yeah, that war was a part of my life and it's going to be there forever. But allowing you and seeing you work through those things and accepting it in yourself and watching you deal with it, I said, okay, because I know how uncomfortable it was for you, so uncomfortable, but I watched you do it, and I thought to myself, if he can do it, I bet I can do it too,
You sleep next to me and I don't sleep that great. Yeah. My dreams are
nightmares. Yeah.
And they're always nightmares. And but it's interesting because a lot of times that's why I don't want to go to sleep, because I know what I have to face when I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right? I go to sleep and it hurts to sleep, so I don't want to sleep. But I spend the majority of my time up, awake, alive, in action, loving, leading,
happy.
guiding, happy, right? I really do.
You do.
And it's just a weird thing for me because, not this has anything to do with the conversation, but just inside of my subconscious when I go to sleep, there's still so many things inside there to just keep unraveling and unraveling and unraveling. Mm-hmm. And I believe that inside of everything that I have, that is where the purpose is.
Sure.
The pain is inside of that, or the purpose inside of that pain, I should say. I want to switch gears over here and talk about discipline. You might realize how you told me you're the most disciplined. That's just a joke, but
that was funny, actually.
You told me I'm the most disciplined person that you'd ever met, and you said you're pretty disciplined, and I just laughed.
Actually, yeah, I was in the bathroom and I was changing, and we were having this conversation, and I said something. You truly are the most disciplined person I've ever met. And then I said from around the door, I said, and I'm disciplined too, right, honey? And then I peeked my head around the corner, right? Yeah. But and then we started laughing because
you're not.
Because that could be.
Because you're like, it's not even.
I'm just a free bird.
It's not even debatable. So there's certain things that you do, standards.
There's a standard of how I live my life for sure.
So this is the conversation. This is actually part of the topic I want to talk about. There's a certain way that you live your life that you will do every single day, from the cleaning, the cooking, and I know it's like very traditional style thing to say, but it's like what you do.
That's what I do.
Clean, cook,
go to the gym,
dress the kids, go to the gym, take care of me. Like, you're very structured, and that's who you are. And why I think it's important to bring that up is because a lot of the dudes make significant changes, like we just talked about, like I've done inside of my 6 years of my life. And especially when guys join the program, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And I have conversation this morning, right, the hockey stick, this curve, right, that they go on. And had a conversation today where a guy's like, I'm going. And I'm gonna full court press on her. I broke her open and she's gonna change. And that's whether that's right or wrong, that's the choice, the decision he made. I think too often that when dudes change, they try to make their wives change or their girls change, and they don't necessarily want to change. For me, I realize this: if you did the same shit that I did every day, we wouldn't work.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's funny.
Like, I don't want you to stack.
I think their mind is in the right place because they're having this great growth, and they would love nothing more than their wife to get on that same vibration and lust for life that they have, which is great.
But that could be done without the crazy discipline, right? You really can.
But telling your wife, this is what you need to do and this is going to make us great, that is definitely the wrong way to handle it. And she would probably reject that if you start telling her what she needs to do.
And for me, I wouldn't want to be married to myself. Like, if you had the same things.
Yeah, if I was up at 4 a.m. stacking every day, if I was doing all the crazy, disciplined, intense things that you do every single day, you'd be like, like you said, it just wouldn't work.
Because there's the other side of me that I'm trying to achieve and to get to, that is the free spirit of Mark that you possess, right? That I wasn't. I talk about it often. Like, when I'm 21 years old, 22, 23 years old, there's a version of me that's just still running around Southern California somewhere that was like footloose and fancy free and having a great time. And like, you represent a piece of me from the past that I want to get to at 50, 55, 60, whatever. And I'm old. The way I want to live my life at the end is like I lived it at the front, but in the middle, I've got to go, go, go.
Yeah.
Right? Not too high, not too little, stay in the middle and go, go, go. And this is where my discipline is at, to focus and focus and focus and build and build and build and build together inside. And I feel like, too many guys, they want to change. They want their wives to have the same thing, and they put the pressure on them, which creates an unneeded pressure, no different than the pressure needed or unneeded when a dude's trying to quit drinking. Right?
Yeah.
Where they should have controlled drinking, I should have 2, I should have 3. No, fuck off. Just fucking live your life.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are, like I said, I feel like their mind is in the right place. You know, they think in their head, okay, I want her to be like me. I want this. I want that to happen. And some wives are like that. Some wives, if the husband introduces it, she would be like, heck yeah, I want to start writing my goals and I want to start journaling and I want to start doing everything that you're doing. Some wives love that.
But it's not that you don't do it, you just don't do it every day.
I don't do it every day.
And you know enough to know that I do these every day because this is what you want and this is what I want, where together I'm going to build you up. Honestly, I don't want you to wake up at 4:30 in the morning and sit out there and stack with me.
The greatest thing that you've ever done for us in those moments, because like I said, you are the most disciplined person I've ever met, and I am a free bird. I want to just do whatever I want to do, and that does not include journaling and writing and being you, right? We've talked about it 1,000 times, is just future casting and just everyday conversation. Hey, even if you ask me, hey, how's it going in the gym? Or do you want a personal trainer? Or hey, if you're trying to elevate this, are you good with where you're at? Or what books are you reading lately? Hey, do you want any self-development books? Like, you just ask, and you're constantly feeding me what our future and what does that look like. And so when you're telling your wife what this future looks like, she sees the changes in you. If you are a strong and communicative male leader, and you're doing exactly what you say you're going to do in your relationship, your wife is inevitably going to follow and start doing things that are going to cause her to grow without you having to push it on her. She's going to know, oh, hey, yeah, this is where we're going in our future. She's going to be excited about that because you're excited about that. Mm-hmm. Then she's going to start thinking, oh, wow, okay, well, if this is how big our life is going to be, dang, that's really fun for me. I'm excited. Okay, what ways can I start elevating? What does that look like for me? And that might mean she's like, hey, I'm going to start going to the gym twice a week. Yeah. And to a man, he might be like, oh, that's not good enough. You need to go every day. But to her, she's like, no, I'm elevating. This is me elevating. You're telling me about our future. Hey, I'm going to go to Saks Fifth Avenue and I'm going to go buy this new outfit for this event we have. I'm going to look. Or, and so...
These are all things that you've done, not the gym.
The
gym was always who you were.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying, if it's not up to the wife, it's your job. Be the man, be the leader, be the visionary, and be so excited and strong in where you're going and excited to share it with your wife that she's like, okay, cool. Hey, and you don't have to force anything because she's already going to do it because you're doing exactly what you said you're going to do. She's inevitably just going to follow in this beautiful path, But it's the gentleman who is not sharing every nook and cranny of his business or he's not sharing anything and he's just telling her, hey, you need to write and journal. And she's like, fuck you. Right. For what? You're miserable. You're angry. You don't tell me anything. But you're going to tell me that I have to start journaling and writing goals and going to the gym. Get fucked. Yeah. But when she sees that you're excited about the future, when she sees that, hey, this is what we're going to do, this is what this is going to look like, this is what it's going to do for us, and you're excited and you're sharing it with her every single day, her little brain is going to start firing off all these beautiful new neurons, and she's going to say, oh my goodness, okay, I think this is what I need to do. Sure. I need to do this. And then she's going to start asking you questions like, hey, how I ask you questions.
Right. And a lot of it, like what I'm doing right now, is because for 6 years I've been teaching you or guiding you, leading you, loving you, carrying you sometimes, pulling you, you pushing me sometimes. Like we've been building this thing together. And now we get to this certain spot in our life of, a soul level expansion. And there's so many different things inside of it. But even just in this life that we live, I now purposely put you in scenarios and situations that prop you up to see how you'll do in this situation, right? Like in certain neighborhoods, like we were just at, conversations, people, things, clothing, like, is this right for us? Is it not? So there's a whole nother level of this that I'm learning how to do right now. Is you're like my case study. You're like my little test dummy.
Go me, it's fine.
You're not a dummy, right? But like
no,
putting you in a situation where to see if you squirm or you rise. Yep. Right? Or if it feels right. And then I could tell that doesn't work for her. But like for instance, in Garrett's neighborhood and hanging out with Danielle and these things, I sit back, I'm like, okay, how's she going to do?
Sure.
Right? And you always hold your own. And then we have conversations like, is this for us? It's like test driving your life.
Sure.
By going for that vision. I think that's something that's important because it comes from actions and activities and discipline from the man making a responsible decision that everything is a choice to start living his way a certain type of way, to grab his wife and his kids, to lead them to a point that he gets them to, and then they start trying on life. Because if I start making moves right now that you don't want and putting us in places you don't want to be, that's going to take apart from the future that I was trying to create.
Yes, exactly. That's a massive component, I would say.
You know?
Always patient. I always tell people, Mark is always in control. Mark is always in control, but he's never controlling. So even in these moments where he says he's test driving me and he's testing out the waters, if he feels that I'm not ready, in his mind, all he's thinking is, okay, I haven't done a good enough job, leading her or making her feel like she's ready or can be a part of this. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let me ease off of her a little bit, build her up a little bit more, and let's try it again.
Or I start asking myself, is this really what I want?
Or is this really what we even want?
Right.
Yeah,
Like goes to me first. Like, okay, I saw how she responded here. Is this what I want?
Yeah. I think that's huge.
Does she want this pressure? Do I want that pressure? Is this who I want to become? Am I good enough here? Is it time to go? If when God says to go, it means go. When God says to stop, I should probably stop, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes God tells me to stop through the way that you act, right? And not in a bad way, right?
No,
But
I know.
Just like finding the level that fits, going back to that picture I painted of the funnel. I like to fill my life full of shit. I'm never gonna stop collecting stuff. I mean, what did I, last night I started learning Spanish.
I know, I love it.
When my arm gets better, I legit downloaded an app, bro. So I could.
You did?
So I'm.
Sing with me, bro.
Well, I don't know about singing, but I will fucking say hola. So, but I'm not very good at it yet. So no, I've only had like 1 hour of training, and then we're gonna learn the guitar. And I recognize for me, I'm like, hey, I know a lot of things about business now. Like we can do this thing. We've arrived at a place where I can build any type of financial wall of freedom. We can do anything we need to do. I'm really good at it. But what about life?
Yeah, how do you live your
what's
life?
interesting for me is like at 43 years old, because I got to, all the things my dad taught me that I love, that I still love about whether I get along with him or not. Like he taught me things I love about my life, how to be tough, how to be a man, how to, how to ski, how to ride dirt bikes. Like I know how to work on my cars. I don't do it anymore, but I know a lot of things that I learned. But now at 43 years old, I'm like, what do I actually want to do? I mean, I've taught the kids how to ski and dirt bike. They're not really into it. Like Jade likes skiing, but like, so I'm in this new place where like, okay, how does the next 60 years of my life look like? What are these new habits, these new skills to create a new identity, which is the artistry of me by pulling back in this funnel, putting all this new piece in my life and then pulling it forward. Last question.
Yep.
Did you like going on the Date Your Wife podcast?
Yeah, I loved it. I really
probably
loved it.
It was probably your best podcast performance you did. You didn't shut up.
I didn't either. I asked him right when we got done, I said, did I steal that on accident? Or was I just rambling? Did it sound bad? Because I'm my own biggest critic, like we all are. And I'd never been in a position where people are asking us questions about our life. And I love our life, so I was just so eager to share it. And then when we got done, I said, oh, dang, I really took up that 40 minutes, didn't I?
And it's different when you're in an actual studio. Like she was built out in, he's got the lights and the cameras and there's 4 of them there. It's up on a stage and it's different environment, right?
I will use any platform, any area to brag about my life and you in my life. And I know that might sound bad, but I love sharing with people who ask how loved I am, how great my life is, watching you and the changes that you've gone through. To me, it's so inspiring, and I just feel so lucky and blessed that I'm like, yeah, of course I want to share that.
It was about an hour-long podcast of Kendra talking.
Yeah, so it's great. If you guys want to listen to it,
So it's the
Kendra Show.
podcast, the Kendra Show. All right, do you have anything else you want to add for this week, babe?
No, I thought that was great.
Yeah. These I'm just learning, even from being off that show, it's less about what it looks like on the camera, more about what we put out for people to listen to. That's why they like it. They need to see the different personalities of what it feels like to live this life from the front. And just continue to lead the life. So again, we don't ask for anything on these things. We just do this. It's my favorite time of the week to spend and position myself in a place to let the world hear what it's like to
Go through our brain.
go through our brains, to be us, to see what we do, to maybe take some stuff from it and go live their life. So that's it for this week's episode. We'll see you all next week.